Shalom in the name of Yehoshua HaMashiach, and welcome to another investigation of another popular Trinity God-man proof text. This is not so much a text as a theory concerning a word, a Hebrew word, which we find in this verse. The very first verse of the scriptures, the very first verse of the Torah, says, "In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth." And what people try and say is that because this, it doesn't say just El, which is the singular. It says Elohim, which is plural, which is when you have a Hebrew word of im at the end, that's plural. And the argument is that shows that Yahweh is more than one. He's mysteriously plural because the word Elohim is used with reference to him. However, as we will see in this video, this is not a good argument. In Hebrew, and in biblical Hebrew, you will very often have individuals, purely single individual things or individual people, referred to using a plural noun. The point is that the form, the plural structure, does not necessarily mean have a plural meaning. Okay, and we're going to find this with various scriptures. For example, if we go to Bereshit, the same book, Bereshit chapter 24, verse 9, it says, this is talking about Abraham and his servant, Eliezer. And it says, "The servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and swore to him concerning this matter." Now this word, his master, in Hebrew, master, is actually Adonim, plural. But obviously it's talking about Abraham, who is one person. He's an individual. He's not plural. That's one example of a plural noun that does not have a plural meaning. Another example in the same book, Bereshit, would be in chapter 42 and verse 30. This is speaking about the sons of Israel who went to see Yosef in Mizraim. And it says, "The man, the master of the land, spoke to us harshly and took us for spies of the land." Guess what? Master here, it's plural in the Hebrew. It's Adonim. Again, Yosef is clearly not plural. He's just one person. Once again showing us that the plural form of a noun does not necessarily have a plural meaning. Okay? Now, going back to the word Elohim, we actually find that this Elohim is used in several places in the scriptures to refer to entities that are not plural. If we go to the next book in the Torah, which is Exodus, Shemot chapter 4, verse 16, this is the Most High speaking about Moshe, speaking to Moshe. And it says, "And he," speaking about Aharon, "he shall speak for you to the people, and it shall be that he shall be a mouth for you, and you shall be an Elohim for him." And now in different translations, if we compare them here, we see the English Standard Version, it's got "he shall be as God to him." JPS, God. King James, you shall be him instead of God. God, God, God. All these versions translate it as God. But interestingly, in this version, which is the scriptures, it's got a very useful footnote, which says, "Or mighty one," which is proof that Elohim is but a title indicating order or authority. It is not a proper name. But the point is, Elohim is referring to Moshe. Moshe is not plural. Moshe is one person. He is one man. But we have Elohim being used for him, this one individual. We also find that Elohim is used for other deities. We find this, for example, in Judges, Shoftim, chapter 11, verse 24, saying, "Whatever Chemosh, your mighty one, gives you to possess, do you not possess it? And all that Yahweh, our Elohim, takes possession of before us, we possess." Now, check this out. This version has decided to translate Elohim actually translate it as mighty one, but it says Elohim, it says Chemosh, your Elohim. Chemosh is a pagan deity, and it's a single pagan deity. Chemosh is not a trinity. Chemosh is not plural. Chemosh is one God, is one deity. And so you've got Chemosh, and then it says, and all that Yahweh are Elohim, takes possession and gives us. Yahweh is one. Chemosh is also one. But both of them have this Elohim word used with reference to them. Another example of this, there's quite a few examples, but I'll just go to one more example of this, which we have in First Kings, Melachim, chapter 11, verse 33. This is a good one. It says, because they have forsaken, this is Yahweh speaking, they have forsaken me and bow themselves to Ashtoreth, the mighty one, that says Elohim, of the Sidonians, to Chemosh, again, the mighty one, that says Elohim in Hebrew, of the Moabites, and to Milcom, the mighty one, that says Elohim, of the children of Ammon. So we see that Ashtoreth, Chemosh, and Milcom, who are individual pagan gods, pagan deities, are called Elohim. But they are individuals, they're not trinities, they're not plural. Again, showing us that the plural form of a noun does not necessarily indicate have a plural meaning. Now there's one, I could find this example quite funny, which is in the Psalms, Tehillim, chapter 45. This is actually another common proof text to teach that the Messiah, Yahushua, is the Almighty, because he's referred to as Elohim in this passage. But let's check this out. It says, your throne, O Elohim, speaking to the Messiah, if you look at the context. Your throne, O Elohim, is forever and ever. The scepter of your reign is a scepter of straightness. But hold on a sec. If Yahushua, if the Messiah is Elohim, does that mean that Yahushua is plural? The Messiah is plural? Of course not. Elohim does not necessarily have a plural meaning. And then look at this. It says, you have loved righteousness and hated wrongness. Therefore, Elohim, your Elohim, has anointed you with the oil of gladness more than your companions. Now, if Elohim is supposed to be plural in meaning all the time, this would mean that not only is the Messiah plural, at least two, that would also mean that the Father is plural, which means you've got, if you follow this line of reasoning, this would mean you've got at least 4 persons in this Godhead. Again, the point is that a plural noun does not necessarily have a plural meaning. Elohim, as we saw in that reference earlier in Exodus, Elohim just means mighty one, and it's used in reference to human beings, it's used in reference to false gods, and it's used in reference to the Almighty. It means mighty, a mighty one. And the plural form of that noun, Elohim, does not necessarily indicate have a plural meaning. And finally, we're going to go and look at the we're going to go back to Genesis 1:1, and we're going to check out the notes that are here given in the Net Bible notes. We looked at this in the video about let us make man in our image, and the Net Bible notes say, this frequently used Hebrew name, it's not a name, it's a title, for God, Elohim, is a plural form. Right? So it's plural in form because it's got im at the end. When it refers to the one true God, the singular verb is normally used as here. And look at this. The plural form indicates majesty. The name stresses God's sovereignty and incomparability. He is the God of gods. So this idea that Elohim is somehow a mysterious hint of the Trinity, of plurality, just does not hold up to investigation, and it does injustice really to the Hebrew scriptures, to the language and the context in which the Hebrew scriptures were written.